The following is a presentation of 912 Sports. Welcome to On Air with 912 Sports, your number one source for high school sports. With Sean Smoke and Kevin Price. On Air with 912 Sports is brought to you by Coastal Pines Technical College. Go Coastal. Prime South Bank. Find your prime. Robbie Robertson Ford, because Fords are cheaper in the swamp. Gibson Animal Clinic, practical solutions with limited fees. Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, the region's best orthopedic care. And Kim Smoke, licensed realtor with eXp Realty.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Spoke, publisher of 912 Sports, and we've got a great show for you tonight. Hopefully everybody is safe from Hurricane Helene, and we've got all kind of changes, postponements, games that got played, games that didn't get played, and we're going to try to sort it out for you right here on 912sports.net. But coming up, we got Kevin and myself. We're going to be picking the game scheduled for October the 4th, and there's a few games that are going to be played. A lot of games are going to be postponed. We'll fill you in and all that. We'll also have a scoring recap for the few games that were played on September the 27th, or the Friday night was supposed to be September the 27th. And then, of course, we'll have Evan Smoke's pick for our game of the week. We're going to change up the game of the week a little bit because the Charlton-Clinch County game has been moved. So we'll throw in with the Camden versus Valdosta game as Evan's pick of the week. But y'all stick around. We've got a great show for you. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. And I have the scoring recap from September the 27th of 24, or actually the games that were played that were supposed to be played that Friday night. As everyone knows, Hurricane Helena came through the 912 last Thursday, September the 26th, devastating parts of southeast Georgia. Some teams beat the storm by playing on Wednesday the 25th, and others played on Saturday the 28th, while there was a couple of games on Monday the 30th. Here's a recap of those games. On Wednesday, 4 games were played. Bacon beat Berrien 51-12 in Alma. Thomasville came to the Pinelands in Hazelhurst and beat the Jeff Davis Yellow Jackets 31-7. Charlton traveled over to Lanier and won a close contest 15-12. And the Wayne County Yellow Jackets dropped their first region game, losing to Warner Robins 36-3. There was one game played on Saturday, and it was a high-scoring affair, but the New Hampstead Phoenix fell to Perry 80-47. 2 games were on the docket for Monday as Coffee County stays undefeated as they beat Northside Warner Robins 41-0. And the 2024 City Championship was played over in Brunswick, and the Brunswick High Pirates defeated the Glen Academy Red Terrors 49-7. So stick around. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
Play it loud and rev it up. Robbie Robertson's got trucks built for tough.
Make your way to Robbie Robertson Ford in Waycross, where the deals are bigger than ever. Looking for a stylish midsize car, a spacious SUV, or a truck that performs at work and play? Robbie Robertson wants your vehicle and is paying top dollar. Now is the time to buy. Fords are cheaper in the swamp.
Welcome, sports fans, and thanks for watching On Air with 912 Sports. I'm Sean Smoke, publisher of 912 Sports. He's Kevin Price, head writer and podcast host. And as you can see today, we're here together over here at Glen County Athletic Facility. The field's just off to our right here. The reason we're doing this together today is because in Waycross, we still don't have power. So hope everybody is safe from Hurricane Helene. But we're going to try to bring you up to speed on all the changes that's going on here in GHSA and all the football games here around the 912. And Kevin, hopefully you and your family are safe. I know you guys have had power over here in Brunswick. I'm actually staying in Brunswick this week, so I can have power. But it's been kind of a tumultuous week here for with Hurricane Helene coming through.
No question. Obviously, it's been basically a week since this has happened, and everybody's trying to recover, get back on their feet. And certainly, compared to a lot of places in southeast Georgia, the Glen County community was spared compared to a lot of other places. But we were able to play the city championship game between Glen and Brunswick here on Monday night. That game was postponed by a couple of days. So obviously, we kind of got back on our feet a little earlier than some folks did. But, a lot of folks probably don't feel like we should be playing football, and that's certainly understandable in a lot of ways. But football is a recovery for some, and you kind of got to get back going in the right direction at some point. So, again, everybody's picking up the pieces and moving on. And Sean, we've dealt with some of this before. We've had a couple of hurricanes, Matthew and Irma. We've also dealt with similar stuff during COVID. So, we spoke with Steve Waters, the athletic director over here in Glen County before we started the show. And he spent a lot of time in the last 24, 48 hours doing rescheduling and things of that nature. And the good news is he and a lot of other folks have been through all this in recent years, but it's something they're accustomed to with some of the things we've dealt with in the past. So from that standpoint, it's kind of old hat, but everybody's just trying to do their best they can right now, including us here at 912 Sports.
Exactly. And what we have to realize is not only our little part of the state that has, kind of been devastated by this thing, but it affects the whole state. Teams in Atlanta, teams in West Georgia, teams in Northeast Georgia, it all comes together. So at some point we've got to get back on track, that or either everybody's got to forfeit the season, and that's the last thing that anybody, wants to do. But let's jump into the games that we've got scheduled for 10-4, which is this coming Friday night. We'll just start off with the Appleton County Pirates. Baxley was devastated, and Appleton actually has an open week this week, so they will not be playing. Bacon County is also open. This is their bye week, so they won't be playing. The Brunswick and Bradwell game that was scheduled for 10-4 has been moved to 11-8, which is the last game of the season now. We didn't really talk about that, Kevin, but GHSA has made the decision to back up the playoffs 1 week, giving every team here in the state of Georgia an extra week to play these games. 11-1 was going to be the end of the season. Now 11-8 is going to be the end of the season. And so the Brunswick-Bradwell game will be moved to that date. But the first game we're going to talk about is Fitzgerald at Brantley County. Go back a couple of weeks, Kevin. Brantley coming off that great win over, Lance Helton and Jeff Davis to go 1-0 in the region. But, oh, by the way, you got to play the Purple Hurricane this Friday night. But they do get this game there in Brantley, and Brantley's had a couple more weeks of practice to get a little bit better. But this could be, we'll see. I mean, I thought that the Jeff Davis game was going to be a blowout, but Brantley, proved me wrong. So we'll see what happens this Friday night when Fitzgerald comes to town.
Yeah, Jeff Davis won that game Brantley won that game against Jeff Davis 28-21, and we were supposed to see them last weekend against Worth. And maybe, Sean, in a strange way, from that standpoint, the Hurricane may have done the Herons some favor because they were probably getting patted on the back all week long, and even when they would have taken the field over in Sylvester against Worth, they may have forgotten they got to move on to the next ball game. So they've had a chance to, get back on their feet from that standpoint and realize, hey, we have to move forward. Right. But, obviously both of these teams, like everybody else now, dealing with some layoffs, but Brantley's schedule, Sean, is tough in this new region they're in. It is. They've already played two ranked teams in Pierce and Jeff Davis. Right. Probably lucky to be 1-1 against those teams. But here comes another ranked team, Fitzgerald, ranked number 5. Next week, they got another ranked team, Thomasville, or I think in 2 weeks, that's ranked 3rd right now. But this Fitzgerald team, Sean, always good. Played for a state championship in 2020, won a state championship in 2021, played for it again in 2022. Made it to the semifinals in 2023. Tucker Pruitt, of course, I think played at Fitzgerald back in the day under his dad, Robbie Pruitt, who coached there, and then, of course, coached in our area as well at Coffee. Now is back down in Florida. But they're obviously going to be really good. Going to be another tough assignment for Brantley. And we'll see if the Herons can play them off their feet.
Right. And congratulations to Robbie Pruitt. I saw in Florida, he got his 400th victory. Right. So congratulations, Coach Pruitt, on that. So good job. Our game of the week was scheduled to be Charlton and Clinch. That game has also been postponed. That game will be played November the 8th. So what we've done is we've kind of pulled a little switcheroo here, and we're going to make our Camden-Valdosta game our game of the week, and that's the next game we're going to talk about. And Kevin, we got a good old-fashioned cat fight here. We've got the Blue Cats against the Gold Cats. You got two 5-0 football teams. You got Region 1 and 6A. I mean, probably the toughest region in the state of Georgia. And here we go. We're going to decide everything between the White Lions Friday night over in Valdosta.
Well, actually Saturday afternoon.
Oh, that's okay. Saturday afternoon.
Just because they don't know or didn't know, and they probably don't have power over at Bazemore Hyder Stadium. So they are going to play at 1 o'clock. And hey, folks, free football. Not even counting if they go to overtime, because from what I understand, it's going to be free admission.
Free admission, okay. Well,
and this
hats off to you, Val.
This is
nice dude.
Yeah, this is a great free ticket. Let me tell you, 2 ranked teams: Camden, the Wildcats from Camden, number 4 in the state, 5-0. Valdosta, number 9 in the state, 5-0. And Sean, the matchups in this one are juicy. Let's just take it from the standpoint when Camden has the ball, running that spread under Coach Travis Rowland, their new coach. Against a really, really stout Valdosta defense. We're going to see a lot of good defensive lines throughout region play here in this region. Valdosta with one of those defensive lines, a real talented secondary that their coach has bragged about openly. Mm-hmm. So the matchups between the receivers and, of course, Elias Williams, they're tied in against that secondary of Valdosta, going to be really good. And it'll be interesting to see if they put their quarterback, Todd Robertson, on defense in this ball game more than they have. And speaking of when Valdosta has the ball, Todd Robinson is the man. He's one of the big dogs in the state. He's one of the best athletes in the state. They've got him playing quarterback. He's going to Georgia like Williams as one of the top recruits in the country. The guy can fly. He's got track speed in the 100, 200, whatever he wants to do. He's fast. Also pretty big for his size, but he's improved passing-wise, Sean. We know he can run, so where it starts for Camden is stopping him. You can't let him control this football game. But regardless of what happens here for our team, Camden, they got to strap it on again next week because another Wildcat team is going to be ready for them. Richmond Hill, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Exactly. But should be a great game. A lot of future Bulldogs going to be on the field on Saturday, so check that out if you get a chance. But we'll see if the Blue Cats can beat the Gold Cats. But we'll move right along. Coffee and Lee has been postponed. I talked to Coach Coe. They really hadn't decided on a makeup date for that game yet. It could be the November the 8th, but it could be another date as well. So we'll give you more information on that as it comes up. Effingham is actually open this week, so the Rebels won't be playing. This is their bye week. Robert Toombs Academy at Frederica is now November the 1st. Talk to Coach Brandon Derrick. He's got that game moved. And then the Evans at Glenn game has been postponed, and I'm not sure if there is a makeup date yet, but we will have that coming up.
Well, that's at the end of the season.
Okay, so they have moved that to the 8th.
Right.
Okay. All right. So we've got Evans at Glenn on 11-8 as well. But let's take a break, and we'll come right back here and talk about the rest of the games and all the postponements for this Friday night, October the 4th. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
At Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery, you don't have to be an athlete to get the region's best orthopedic care. Our board-certified orthopedic surgeons and physicians treat injuries and conditions that affect just about any joint or bone in your body. Plus, we're backed by the support of Southeast Georgia Health System. From fracture repair to joint replacement, Summit Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Surgery will get you moving again. Call 1-855-ASK-SGHS. That's 1-855-275-7447 or visit sghs.org/summit.
Welcome to this charming home in Blackshear, Georgia. This home is a combination of modern comfort with inviting warmth. There are 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. The kitchen has quartz countertops, shaker-style cabinets with an island. The open floor plan is accented with a stylish electric fireplace in the living room. The primary suite has a soaker tub, separate shower with glass doors, and a walk-in closet. This home is located approximately 5 miles from Pierce County High School. Call Kim Smoke of eXp Realty today at 912-286-1806 for your private showing. Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke. He's Kevin Price, and we're talking about the games scheduled and the postponements from October the 4th. We'll dive right back in. Jeff Davis at Berrien. I talked to Coach Lance Helton yesterday. This game is still on the schedule. Was still on the schedule. They may play on Friday night. They may not. So check your local listings there. But as of yesterday, this game had not been determined when it was going to be played, and that'll be Jeff Davis at Berrien. Liberty County was supposed to go to Johnson and Savannah. That game has been postponed to November the 8th, and Calvary Day at Long, the same thing. Calvary Day was coming to Long County, but that game has been postponed to November the 8th. But the next game we're going to talk about is going to be the Jenkins County at MCA. Jenkins County comes into the contest ranked number 10 in that classification. MCA, both of these teams are 4-1, but Kevin, this should be a really, really good battle there this Friday night down in Darien.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, 2 4-1 football teams, both teams with a chance to win their region. And Sean, if you like old school, run-oriented football teams that also rely on their defense and aren't afraid to, hang the games on their defenses, this one is made for you. Neither one of these teams like to pass the football unless they have to. And when you look at this thing, there's one score out there against a common opponent that I think tells you a lot about how this one might go too. And we were talking about it before we came on air. McIntosh County Academy defeated ECI 7-6 in overtime. That game was scoreless at the end of regulation, and they went to overtime, and McIntosh won that game 7-6. Also, Jenkins County has played ECI. They won that ball game 20-17. So 2 nip and tuck ball games between these teams against ECI. Both teams won close ones. And I do think this one will be close.
Yep.
Jenkins County beat now McIntosh 47-0 last year, but we know McIntosh was all beaten and banged up with injuries and all sorts of things last year. So I don't think that'll be the case this year. McIntosh did beat these guys in 4 overtimes back in 2022. Obviously, that game was close, so we could see another wild one over there in McIntosh, but it should be low scoring. I would think it's fast, a lot of run-oriented offense. Neither team is going to pass it unless they really have to. So this should be a good one, old-fashioned, hard-nosed football Friday night up in Darien.
Yeah.
And Sean, this is a big one, too, because whoever wins this, most people believe they'll have the inside track for playing Metter, another ranked team, for the region championship later on down the line.
Right. So we'll see if MCA can get it done. Ware's going to travel over to Pooler to play New Hampstead. The Ware County Gators coming off 2 back-to-back defeats there, losing to 2 Florida schools. They lost to Bartram Trail and then Lincoln out of Tallahassee. They'll try to get back on the winning side of things. And then New Hampstead, in one of the weirdest games, Kevin, you're ever going to see in GHSA, a game that was 125 points scored between them and Perry. New Hampstead come on the short end of that game, losing 47-80. But oh, by the way, Rayshawn Truell, their everything quarterback, throws for a state record 630 something yards passing. So kind of a weird dynamic there. You set a state record, but you still lose the football game. So we'll see what happens over in Pooler on Friday night.
Yeah, well, again, you don't want to make light of the situation, but yourself, Ware County was a mass unit and may still be. You can update us on that in terms of just their season in general. May have caught a break not having to play Benedictine last week, a really good team, because they were going to have to somehow find a way just to put a team on the field, much less to stay on the field and stay in that ball game with Benedictine. Now, this won't be easy either, particularly for the Ware County defense against Rayshawn Truell and this New Hampstead offense. Like you mentioned, a high-scoring game, to say the least, last week against Perry. I don't know what that says about Perry's defense, giving up that many points, certainly as well. And New Hampstead absolutely played no defense in giving up those 80 points. But you mentioned the 635 yards. It was a state passing record. Truell was 38 of 65 in that ball game, did throw 3 interceptions, but had 6 touchdowns. Kamari Maxwell has been his main go-to guy all season long. He had 21 catches, so obviously that's half of the completions, or roughly close to it. Had 302 yards himself, so that's pretty close to half of the yardage as well. 3 touchdowns as well, so there again, half of the touchdowns. I guess if you're Ware County, you put at least half of your defense on him and make the rest of the offense
Go get the quarterback.
But anyway, that's obviously the matchup, the Ware County defense against these 2 guys for New Hampstead. And, Sean, plain and simple, Ware County's best defense might be to have Truell watching the football game as long as they can from the sidelines.
Exactly. And I think that'll be a goal of the Ware County Gators, try to play clock management, keep him on the sidelines, and shorten that game a little bit. But we'll move on. We've got the Cook County Hornets are going to come over to Bearville to take on the Pierce County Bears. Pierce County sitting there still undefeated. Now got tested here a couple weeks ago. Close game, 17-14. But Cook County comes into this contest, and this is region play for that region, opening region play. So we'll see if Pierce County can go 1-0 in the region.
Yeah, Sean, we all know that Pierce, has a decided home field advantage anytime they tee it up in Blackshear. And I would think that's certainly going to be the case this week. They haven't been at home for a couple of weeks, I think, since mid-September. And, the last time they played, obviously, was a couple of weeks ago, away from home over in Quitman against Brooks, when they were tested and challenged 17-14. They won that game on a last-second field goal. And like we said, we think in the long run that's going to be good for Pierce, because obviously most of their games that they've scored pretty much over 40 and have given up, less than 10. So they've won going away. So that was a good test for them. But Bearville is going to be fired up for this one, kind of returning to normalcy, if you will. Right. Football, a big part of that community.
Getting that region going.
They love their guys over there. They've got it rolling. Of course, they're the defending state champs in their classification, and certainly have been ranked number 1 since the preseason. Cook County comes in reeling, Sean. They're 2-4. I think they've lost 4 straight, including a game against Brooks. They lost 45-14 to start this losing streak. So this should go Pierce County's way. I know they'll be waiting and ready. It is a region opener for them, so a lot riding on the line in terms of that. and this will be all Pierce County, I believe.
Yep. All right, moving on to the next game. We've got Tiff at Richmond Hill. This is another game, Kevin, in that Region 1 6A. Richmond Hill, another Wildcat team there in that region, going to play Tiff. They got to go over to Richmond Hill to play this game. And Richmond Hill, I mean, listen, Matt Lazat's been telling us about this football team for the last 3 years. He could not wait till this bunch got to be seniors. Right now, they're perfect on the season. They're undefeated, and they hope to. I think they'll keep it going on Friday night, and then they'll get into the real meat and potatoes of that. That Region 1-6 when they got to take on Coffee and Lowndes and Valdosta and Camden. But I think this one goes in the W column for Richmond Hill on Friday night against Tiff.
Yeah, I've seen Richmond Hill 3 times in Glenn County going back to the summer. Saw their linemen over at the lineman camp they had over on Jekyll that Coach Lance Helton and a bunch of coaches involved with the GACA put on, and then saw them in the OTA over at Brunswick, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from where we are now. And then saw them right here on this field against Glenn Academy in week 2, and have been impressed in a variety of ways with the Wildcats every time. They're really good on offense with some firepower. The Troop kid running hard between the tackles. The Caleb Easterling kid plays offense and defense, but he's racking up all kind of all-purpose yards. They're big in the line of scrimmage on offense, well coached, big up front on defense. Their front 7 may be the strength of that football team, and they're going to win this one going away, Sean, as long as they show up and are focused and ready to go. If there's any such thing as easing into the region schedule in this region, this is it for Tiff, and then for Richmond Hill playing Tiff, and then it gets much harder going forward.
Exactly. Lakeside Evans was supposed to play at Statesboro. That game, again, is moved to November the 8th. Everybody taking advantage of that extra week that GHSA is giving everybody. And then the last game is Perry at Wayne County. This game is pending right now. It is, it's scheduled for Monday night. We'll see if that stays or if they do something and move it to the end of the season. But Perry and Wayne reeling right now. Kevin coming off a 36-3 loss over at Warner Robins. Perry coming off that game against New Hampstead, winning 80-47. Wayne's got some troubles right now, and I just don't see it going their way. I think Perry goes into Jessup and wins this game handily, whether it's played Monday night or whether it's played at the end of the season.
Yeah, they should. I'm really starting to feel for Wayne. I mean, they just can't score, and they can't seem to stop anybody. And they've got a new coach, and he's trying to put his stamp on that program, and just not a lot there right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it is definitely a bare cupboard, as they say, but we'll see if that game gets played on Monday night. But that's going to wrap up all the games and all the postponements for this Friday night, October the 4th. Stick around. We've got Evan Smoke's pick coming up. We'll be right back with that. You're watching On Air with 912 Sports.
It makes sense Prime South Bank would have a great mobile app. Nobody is as mobile as our customers. For a century, they've chased dreams, followed their hearts, took the road less taken, made a new path, taken leaps of faith. At Prime South, offering the latest digital banking, secure pay apps, and new online lending is part of a mobile tradition that goes way back. Life is mobile. So is Prime South. Find your Prime. Member FDIC.
High schoolers, did you know that you can get a head start on your college career and save money at the same time through dual enrollment at Coastal Pines Technical College? Dual enrollment is open to high school juniors and seniors, tuition free. Talk to your high school counselor or visit coastalpines.edu for more information. Coastal Pines Technical College, an equal opportunity institution. Go Coastal.
Welcome back, sports fans. I'm Sean Smoke, and I'll be filling in for Evan Smoke, who's still on the injured reserve, as we pick his game of the week. Evan chose last week. He chose correctly as the Brunswick Higher Pirates defeated the Glen Academy Red Terrors 49-7 in the city championship. This week, Camden County Wildcats at the Valdosta Wildcats as our game of the week. Got two 5-0 teams going after it on Saturday over there in Valdosta, and Evan's going to choose the Blue Cats, the Camden County Wildcats, to get it done. So let's tune in next week and see if he was right, and see if he can keep his winning streak going there on picking games of the week. We've got more on air with 912 Sports right after these messages, so stick around.
Gibson Animal Clinic is ready to help with your animals. From cats to dogs to horses, we treat them all. Calling us for grooming, bathing, boarding, and more serious things like surgery, dentistry, spay, neuter, immunizations, heartworm prevention, flea control, complete lab testing, radiology, preventive health care. Call us at 285-7678. Open Saturdays for your convenience. Gibson Animal Clinic. Practical solutions with reasonable fees. Russell J. Gibson, DVM.
Gibson Animal Clinic, 108 Riverside Drive, Waycross.
Hablamos español en nuestra clínica.
This has been a presentation of 912 Sports.